Cold email outreach is brutal these days. You're spending hours researching prospects, trying to find the right angle, crafting personalized messages, and most of the time, you're still getting ignored or ending up in spam folders. Meanwhile, the emails that actually work require so much research and personalization that you can barely send a few per day. Here's the thing, what if you could just input a prospect's LinkedIn profile and your company website and get a fully personalized, research backed cold email that actually converts? I am Bani and I've been building AI agents that turn tedious manual tasks into simple conversations. Today, I am walking you through a cold email generator that completely automates the research, the personalization, and the writing process. And no, this isn't just some template filling tool. This agent actually researches your profile and company, then analyzes your prospect's profile and their company, even finds industry news and statistics to make your emails more impactful, and then crafts highly personalized cold emails. It can even create follow-up emails or multiple sequences for A/B testing. In this video, first I'll show you how the agent works, and then we'll dive into the detailed workflow breakdown so you can understand how each component operates and how you can customize it. If you want to test the agent yourself, click the link in the description. You'll land on this page. You can interact with the agent on the right side, and for customizing the agent, you should click on Use this template to start working on it using the TARS no-code AI agent builder, which is also the platform that I use to create this agent. For the demo, I'm going to create a cold email for a real prospect and show you the entire process. Let me open the agent in a new tab.
Welcome to the Cold Email Generator. I'll help you create personalized cold emails based on your website, your prospect's details, and your goals. Please select the main purpose of your cold email campaign.
As we start, the agent immediately positions itself as a specialized cold email assistant. First, it asks about the campaign purpose. I'll select schedule a demo or meeting since that's what most B2B outreach is about. Now it wants to know the call to action type. I'll choose meeting link or calendar, and now I'll provide a Calendly link. Now I'll provide the URL of my company's website so the agent can understand what we're selling. Okay, so it has actually analyzed the entire website by mapping pages and scraping content to understand the products and services. Now it wants my LinkedIn profile. Let me paste the URL. Great, it got everything from my profile and now it wants the profile URL of the prospect. Here we go. The agent actually uses People Data Labs to extract detailed information about this person from their profile. Great, it got everything from my prospect's LinkedIn profile URL as well. It has automatically identified which company they're working at, and now it just wants me to confirm that this is the company that I'm targeting. Yeah, this seems correct. So I'll just copy this URL and paste it back here. And now it has all the prospect company data as well. You might be wondering why it didn't just automatically research the company too. Why did it ask for a confirmation? But this is a really important step because sometimes you may have a prospect that is associated with multiple companies. So the agent wants to have clarity on your target company. Now here is where it gets interesting. It's asking if I want to include relevant industry news or data. I'll choose yes, find relevant news automatically. Great, it found some industry news and recent company updates. Let me select one and paste it in the chat. And now it's asking for style and tone requirement, so let's just say none. And finally it's ready to generate the email, so let's go ahead. Look at this. It's created 3 options for a highly personalized cold email with a compelling subject line, specific references to the prospect's background, relevant industry data, and a clear call to action. Yeah, and the link works. This level of personalization would normally take an hour of research per email. I like how it didn't forget to write the subject line either. Whenever I use ChatGPT, it forgets about the subject line. I like email 3. It definitely stands out a little more. Let's see if the agent can generate a sequence for it. Great, I now also have a sequence. The agent seems to be following a structure for them too, like adding a success story here. And it's also helping me actually organize the sequence by giving a window of time to set them. By the way, when you start customizing this agent, you can actually skip the first 2-3 steps and there's a shortcut to it. So when we get to the customization part, I will show you that. And now that we have seen how this agent works, let me test it a little. I'm going to ask it something about the prospect research it conducted earlier. Let's ask, okay, so I asked it which other companies my prospect had worked at and it actually created a list for me. This is a good answer. Let me ask it something a little random to see if it picked up the context from our earlier conversation. I'll ask it, what's my name? Yes, that's right. So now we have seen this agent in action. Not only is it helping me conduct the research about the prospect and their company, we saw that it gathered context about me or the sender of the email. And it also helped me conduct the industry and news research to make my emails a little more relevant. I mean, if I received an email like this, I would assume that the sender has thoroughly researched me and my company and has a solid reason for reaching out, which would also give me the incentive to get on a call. Anyway, now let me show you how this sophisticated workflow actually operates behind the scenes. I'll also tell you how to customize it for your own business process. This is one of the most comprehensive workflows that I've built for cold email generation. Each section handles a different aspect of research and email creation, from initial campaign setup to final email generation. Do you see these little boxes here connected by the blue lines? These are called gambits. A gambit is basically just a step of the conversation. I'll be using the word gambits a lot throughout this video, and sometimes I might call them steps. Now let me walk you through all of these key planning components. These first gambits systematically collect the campaign parameters needed for intelligent email creation. That is the campaign purpose, the CTA type, and the actual CTA link. These initial gambits don't use AI. The messages here are structured, meaning that they will appear in the chat exactly as you type them, and yes, you can edit them. And this blue button here denotes the user input type. This is what the button user input looks like. We have 3 campaign options here that determine the entire email strategy. For your customization, you would modify these campaign purposes based on your specific outreach goals. Maybe you do partnership outreach or investor relations or recruiting instead of just demo scheduling. So all you have to do is change the buttons. Now let's see the company analysis section. Here is where the sophisticated research begins. This is an AI gambit connected to Firecrawl web tools. The AI in these gambits is controlled by the base prompt, which is a set of instructions telling the AI what to do and how to behave. Right at the top, we have the user's company URL as context. Here, the AI is instructed to use Firecrawl with a limit of 10 to identify the most relevant pages and then use Firecrawl again to extract detailed product and service information. So first, it maps the website structure, then identifies key pages about products and services, and then scrapes those pages for detailed information about what the company offers. This creates the foundation for relevant value propositions in the final email. So you notice how this gambit is connected to Firecrawl web tools. When you customize this workflow, you will need an API key by signing up for free on Firecrawl and then add it in and configure this tool to make it work. But there's another alternative to customization, and this is the shortcut that I was talking about earlier. You could upload your website or documents around your products and service as a knowledge base. Using knowledge as a tool, you could connect that to the AI agent gambits like this. Click on Add a Gambit button. Open that gambit and select AI tool, and then from the drop-down menu here, select Knowledge. From here, you can select your uploaded knowledge base and then save. After that, just drag and connect. That way, the AI would directly refer to your uploaded knowledge instead of searching the web for your company or going through your LinkedIn profile. You could also upload bios of yourself or your salespeople in this knowledge base, and that way you could reduce the number of steps in the conversation flow too. To upload a knowledge base in TARS 1.0, which is this, you can access the knowledge base section via TARS Prime from the main dashboard. In TARS 2.0, the knowledge base can be accessed from the left sidebar here itself. Moving to prospect research, this gambit collects the LinkedIn profile URL. This has a simple text input over here where the user will paste their LinkedIn profile URL. This AI agent gambit is connected to the People Data Labs tool. Just like with the Firecrawl tool, you will need to add your own API key for People Data Labs when customizing. Both Firecrawl and People Data Labs are free. But here is where it gets really interesting. This next AI agent gambit automatically identifies which company the prospect works for. You can see the override user input setting here, which is referencing the response from the gambit where the user had input the LinkedIn profile URL. In the base prompt, you can see another reference. This is the response that the AI gambit gave after it used People Data Labs to get information from the prospect's profile. The logic here is brilliant and is controlled entirely by the base prompt. If there's one active company, it confirms with the user. If there are multiple companies, it presents a list for user selection, and it provides the LinkedIn URLs for each company option. Finally, it ends with a question asking the user to check the company URLs and paste the one they are targeting. In the chat window or the agent's front end, we already saw this. It appears like a seamless text conversation, one after the other. When the user responds to this question, the user response goes to the next gambit and triggers it. What that means is the company profile URL actually comes here because there's no override user input setting here. When the user pastes the company URL, this final prospect research step analyzes the selected company using another People Data Labs connection, gathering the business context that will inform the email personalization. For customizing these steps on the prospect research, let's say you want to skip the confirmation step. In that case, you would just use the override user input setting directly and remove the copy-paste question from the previous gambit. Or if your sales process targets only specific market segments, for example, you only want to target enterprise companies, then you could change the base prompt and make the agent use People Data Labs to research all the companies that the prospect is associated with and then filter the companies based on which ones fit your ideal customer profile. Now we'll talk about the news and data enhancement part of the workflow, which is here. This is where the buttons are presented to the user, asking them to decide which method to use for getting the news. In the chat, notice these three button options. We selected the option of finding the relevant news and data automatically. But here, you can see these branches in the path. This is the branching logic. Each button selection leads to a different gambit. The Yes, I'll provide the data news button leads to the self-news gambit, which is where the user could paste specific news or data that they want to use in the emails. Then the Yes, find relevant news automatically leads to the Find News AI agent. This is what we used. This gambit is connected to Exa, which helps it search the web. And then it uses FileCrawl to read through the search results and extract information from the websites. The base prompt currently makes it so that first it refers to the gambit where the agent conducted the prospect company research. From there, it pulls out the industry and the company's name. Then it searches the web using these keywords and finally scrapes the first two search results. Now for customization, let's say that you are tailoring this entire workflow for cold emails that only targets companies in the tech industry. Then you could change the base prompt so the agent only searches the most recent news on TechCrunch and filters the news based on what is more relevant for your prospect. Then you probably wouldn't need this gambit, which is where the user gets to select the automatically researched news, but I'm keeping this in our workflow. And finally, the no skip this step button leads to this gambit, and that's self-explanatory. Now if we scroll down, this gambit only exists to merge the three paths that were created by the branching. What I mean is that it basically confirms what the user selected and responds accordingly, whether they input their own specific data or they selected from a list of news like we did, or if they decided to skip the step. Now this final context gathering asks about the style and tone preferences. Again, this is open to customization, but it is basically a catch-all for any information about the cold email that wasn't gathered in the workflow previously. And this gambit is where the email generation, sequence generation, and A/B testing happens. This is the most sophisticated prompt in the entire workflow. Look at all the context variables it receives: the campaign purpose, the CTA type, everything about the seller, everything about the prospect. Remember, if you're changing the workflow or the names of the gambits, you need to update that here as well, or the AI agent will miss out on crucial information. The prompt incorporates proven cold email best practices, like personalize the first lines with a specific reference, the optimal length, the short subject lines, and a clear single call to action. It also includes storytelling techniques to make the email stand out. Here, I've customized the end output based on what I like, and you can change it to make it more suitable for your outreach process. I would also really recommend that you add some example emails into this base prompt because that helps the AI understand what you want better than instructions. However, in this prompt, I have instructed it on every tiny detail. It knows how to behave if the user requests a sequence, what process to follow if generating sequences for A/B testing, and it can even handle queries about the previous context that was gathered in the workflow. And now you can see that there is a loop here between these two gambits. The AI gambit here has a full comprehensive prompt, but this no input gambit is blank. It doesn't even have any structured messages. This logic allows the remaining conversation to keep happening just between these two gambits. The agent gives a message in the agent gambit, and then the user responds in the blank gambit, and that response goes back to the agent, creating a forever loop. In the front end, it looks like a seamless conversation between the AI and the user. For example, when I asked the agent to create the sequence, or when I asked about the other companies my prospect is associated with, the conversation was actually happening just within two gambits. Now let's talk a little more about customizing and enhancing this agent so it fits perfectly within your existing business process. An AI agent Gambit can really work better when you equip it with greater and more powerful tools. In TARS, you can always build custom tools, but we also have some options for pre-built tools that you can use. Let's take a few examples of our pre-built tools. You could connect HubSpot to the prospect research section to pull existing lead data and interaction history. This would need a HubSpot tool Gambit between the prospect analysis and the email generation. You could also have a Google Calendar connection instead of a Calendly link. You could directly connect Google and automatically control the meeting booking from there. You could connect Notion or Slack or Google Sheets to store all research data and the generated emails for campaign tracking and responses. Honestly, with custom tools, the possibilities are endless, so you can't really say that this wouldn't work for your company. And it's not just tools, the entire workflow is up for customization. You could include multi-prospect research and update them to your Notion database or your Google Workspace. You could conduct deeper researches into the company by maybe adding a prompt for G2 reviews. You could change the email generation guidelines for different industries or based on the role of the prospect. Again, the possibilities are endless. And this isn't just about generating emails, it's about creating a research system that understands prospects, companies, and market context. Instead of conducting hours of research to write your cold email, your team can just use this tool since it's already built. If you can see the potential in this idea and you want to start making it yours, click on the link in the description and start customizing it right away. And if you run into any technical challenges while building or customizing your version, let me know in the comments or join our Discord community where you can connect with other agent builders. Let me know what's the next tedious task that you want me to turn into a simple conversation. Happy building and happy automating.